Breaking news. So, Peter Obi is coming out for presidential election in 2027. But though he has actually won this primary election, but something is still up. Some of the issues Peter Obi might still be facing is this political alliance. Of course, you may be aware that if you're coming for presidential election, you don't just need the online support, emotional support, or even support from your fans. It's not enough. You need something like alliance, political alliance. Those people are people that are going to contribute and play roles in your political election. Nigerian politics depends on powerful alliance behind the scene. It's not just what you see online or what you see physically, just people talking or even negotiations. It does not depend on political negotiations or even gifting or campaigns. You need something called political alliance, and these are one of the issues P2B might be facing. But why would I want to talk about this? Governors, party leaders, businessmen, and even regional influencers all play major roles in political elections during elections. And I'm talking about this because many people still criticizes P2B. Now, some analysts still believe P2B may eventually need stronger coalition with other political figures if he wants to increase his chances in the future election. But alliance come with risk. That is one thing you should have in mind. The more alliance a politician build, the more compromise he may be required. That is true, but one reason many supporters admire P2B so much is because they see this man as a different person. They see his own politics different from traditional politics. Most of the times, most of these politicians, governors are being under people, under strong men in that particular area, and they are being told what to do. But as it stands, P2B is one person many people believe his own pattern of politics is different from what people used to know. So many times, Nigerian youth have cried and called for somebody they can trust. So the challenge right now becomes how does this how does this issue become solved? How does he grow politically? How do you think it will be to grow politically without losing the image that made people support him? How do you think P2B should grow politically, getting alliance, getting political strong alliance without being compromised and without also losing the image people saw and why they made why people supported him? In this case, let me explain better. In as much as P2B is needing political alliance, he still needs to maintain the image which made people to love him. What that image? Discipline, good behavior, accountability, and his way of lifestyle, simplicity. So he still has to maintain that image and also maintaining good alliance. A lot of politicians is not always their will to fall short of expectations, but sometimes it happens because of behind the scene conversations. Many supporters see P2B almost as a symbol of hope for Nigeria, for a better Nigeria. And that creates enormous pressure. It creates a pressure that P2B have to always roll within that image. He doesn't have to stay off the box. Every statement he makes is analyzed. People look into it. Every interview becomes a political news. Every statement that comes off his mouth, every silence creates speculations. People look into it. People analyze it. Supporters expect him to speak on national issues constantly. Is that even possible? Critics expect him to make mistakes. Political opponents continue to watch every of his step, every of his move, politically and carefully. You see why all these things is looking so heavy and it has enormous pressure. I talked about enormous pressure. Some of you do not understand. Of course, if you're a political figure in Nigeria, many people are going to be looking at every word you speak and every step you take because they want to see where you are coming from. They want to see if you're going to make mistakes or not. And that is the problem of the day. You are expected to continue in a right way, disciplined way, if you started with being disciplined. If people lose trust for you, you have issues. And that is why many of these politicians go off balance. When they lose the trust people have for them, they go off balance. They do extraordinary things to be on the seat. That seat is not easy. So the level of pressure can become very exhausting for any politician. It's not a very easy pressure you see every day. And that is why it becomes very difficult to cope with. Then comes perhaps the biggest challenge of all, Nigeria itself. Carrying the body of Nigeria on your head, like it's being like overfilled can of water. It keeps moving this side and this side. So the country is facing economic hardship. It's shaking like this. The country is facing insecurity like this. That is what I was saying. Inflation like this. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. Can that is overfilled, that's cake that is overfilled with water, is doing like this. You'll be moving forward back. That is how the problem of Nigeria looks like. Hardship, inflation, insecurity, and a high cost of living. People find it hard to feed. These are issues. Business breakdown. All these things are on the head of the president to fix, right? And then we have governors who should be helping him fix those problems. And that is why we have governors from different part of the world, different part of the state. So frustrations, Nigerians are angry, desperate for employment in the country. So Nigerians expect improvement. They expect the situation should look better when P2B sits on that chair. So all these issues I just mentioned right now could be one of the things P2B are facing, or could be one of the things P2B is currently facing. So oppositions, politicians can gain support as well. So, but they also face tougher questions. People are no longer satisfied with promises alone. They need actions, realistic solutions. Nigerians are no longer interested in your promises anymore.